sir, now you can introduce your speaker.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rahul. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will be listening next to a lady whose name is synonymous with approbation. She is firstly an anesthesiologist and an intensivist, which means that she spends a good portion of her day in the ICU of a hospital. And after that, she comes and does a lot of things, which includes giving amazing speeches on Toastmasters, one of which we are now ready to hear. The objective of her speech is to apply the feedback which she has received from her previous speech. And the length of her speech will be 5 to 7 minutes. I wish her the very best of luck, though I'm very sure she really doesn't need my wishes. She's such a good speaker. Toastmaster Archana will be speaking on remove stigma, save lives. Remove stigma, save lives, Toastmaster Archana.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ray, for the wonderful introduction. But before starting my speech, there's a disclaimer that the content of my speech, since it is based on sensitive subject, so it may contain certain words and elements that might be triggering or offensive. Doctor, I felt so frustrated with my life. I was literally frustrated and nothing to look forward in my life. So I decided to put an end to my life. These were the words of an 88-year-old lady who was lying in an ICU bed after taking an overdose of sleeping pills. When I talked about her illness, about her depression with her attendants, as to why they didn't seek any kind of psychiatric help for her illness, they immediately replied to me, no, doctor. She is not a mental patient. She is not a psycho. It's just because of her age, she might have a thinking like this. Their replies actually reminded me of my PG days when I was first year PG. One morning, everyone was talking about Dr. Aarti. That particular morning, she committed suicide. She was an immediate senior to me. And 6 months ago, she was a bubbly girl. But after her breakup, her behavior changed. And she was also seeking some kind of psychiatric help. But the moment she started seeking help for her mental illness, from that day onwards, her colleagues started calling her by different names, like mental, insane, psycho, mad, and whatnot. By these stories, by these two particular stories, we can clearly understand there's a kind of stigma associated with mental illness. And by mental illness, I'm here talking about depression in particular. According to WHO, 8 million people die of suicide every year because of some or the other kind of mental illness, which equates to around 1 death every 40 seconds. Depression, by definition, is a mental illness where a person has a deep and long-lasting feeling of sadness and despair, and where we make most of the mistakes. We often mistake this depression as sadness. Depression, the symptoms of depression ranges from as simple as loss of interest in the previously pleasurable activities up to as grievous as suicidal attempts and suicidal thoughts. But the most striking feature about mental illness and depression is that it is completely treatable and reversible without any kind of medication. And that is through, of course, psychotherapy. By seeking help from psychiatrist or a psychologist at an early stage, or identifying an early sign of depression. But why people don't seek any kind of help? It is because of the stigma. The stigma associated with the mental illness. The moment a person talks about their mental illness to the society tries to see them in a negative image. They try to make an image of that person in a negative way. Some of the people, they try to cut them from the society and the social gatherings, while some may have to face bully, just like what Dr. Aarti was facing. What people don't understand is that these people with the mental problems and the illness, they are going through a lot inside their mind. And now they have to face a lot from the society, from the people around them. This actually breaks them and actually makes them nothing and leave them with no other option than to put an end to their life and commit suicide. But remember, every suicide creates a vacuum that is hard to fill. So be observant with the people around you in the society, in your near and dear ones who is going through this kind of struggle. Have a mental health conversation with them and try to seek help for them as early as possible. So this year, I request you to take a vow to create awareness about the mental illness and remove the stigma about the mental illness from the society and save lives. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you, Toastmaster Archana, for presenting such a serious topic. And we must have to be take care of mental illness and help our people who is suffering from this society.